Happy Friday. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. And today we are going to be talking about winners and losers from the Browns roster after the NFL draft. You know, who came out with a higher stock based on the picks Andrew Berry made, and maybe some losers, right? People are like, ooh, I didn't like that pick. That doesn't bode very well for me. Before we get to winners and losers, let's just revisit all the draft picks the Browns made, because I don't know about you guys, I'm just a junkie for this. I just love looking at names and picks over and over again. Like, damn, Perrion, Winfrey in round 4. I will never get tired of seeing that on screen. So those were the first 5 picks made by Andrew Berry, and then he wrapped up the 2022 NFL draft with these picks in day 3. I like Jerome Ford, but I wonder how Kareem Hunt and Johnson feel about that. That's a little foreshadowing for what's to come later on. First up, winners from the 2022 NFL Draft on the Browns roster. Donovan Peoples-Jones, DPJ. He's got to be kind of happy that when it was all said and done, sure, the Browns did draft a wide receiver, but they didn't go too early, you know? Browns opted not to go wide receiver at 44. They could have had George Pickens or Sky Moore or John Mechie. Instead, there's got to be some faith that Andrew Berry has in DPJ to be wide receiver 2. Now, maybe if they sign Jarvis Landry, that changes things a little bit, but I don't know. It's been a week since the day 2 of the NFL draft, and he hasn't made the Landry signing just yet. So if I'm DPJ, I got to be pretty happy with where I think I stand in the Browns, at least in Berry and Stefanski's eyes, of where he is in the totem pole. So I like what DPJ did there. I like what Andrew Berry did there. A little bit of faith in DPJ. So let's play a quick game. Over or under 597 yards in 2022. Why that very odd and specific number? Because that is the career high he had last season for the Browns. So will he outdo himself in 2022? Give me an O for over. Or if you think, you know what, that's his ceiling, U for under. It's the pinned comment. So if a YouTube ad break comes on by, take advantage of it. Head on down to the comment section and get your votes in. Second winner, David Njoku. There was some murmurs, maybe the Browns would go tight end in day 2, with Njoku not necessarily a part of the Browns' long-term vision. We'll talk more on that in just a second, but let's revisit what Njoku did in 2021. He had some great moments. Remember the Chargers game where you're like, that's the first-round pick. Like, that's the guy we've been waiting to see consistently. The issue is, it hasn't really been consistent. But at least in the tight end room, when the only move you make through the draft is signing an undrafted free agent, Mitchell Payton, yeah, Njoku's got to be pretty confident that the Browns are happy with where he is in the organization and like him maybe long-term, because there has been talks of finding an extension. The franchise tag is not the end-all, be-all, right? Chris Godwin got tagged, and then they extended him. It's just kind of a time saver, or it just buys you a little bit of time. So I think Njoku, not seeing a tight end get drafted, must mean a little bit of confidence in him as the long-term tight end one. My next winner, Chase Winovich, defensive end. That was the trade, the Mack Wilson trade. Well, I thought the Browns would go defensive end earlier, like Ajabo at 44 or someone else. Instead, they do draft a D-end, Alex Wright. Well, if you're Winovich, you couldn't be asking for no picks to happen at your position. But for it not to be the first selection made, it's got to feel pretty good, right? They got to be a little bit of faith that, hey, if we don't get Jadeveon Clowney, which would push this roster over the edge, you know, that would really be the cherry on top. Berry's got to feel pretty good about Garrett and Winovich being the starting defensive ends if they can't find Clowney. And maybe Alex Wright makes some moves down the stretch in the season, but I don't see it happening out of training camp. So, speaking of Clowney, I love when you guys do this. Type 90. Let's get some 90s in the chats. Let's let Clowney feel the love from the YouTube dog pound, because he's got to be weighing his options right now. And I really want to believe that producer Jeremy in my ear right now, so he watches the show. I really like to believe if Clowney returns to Cleveland, everyone that put 90 in the comment section had a little bit of part to do with that. Anthony Walker is my next winner. I didn't think linebacker was one of the Browns' biggest needs. And in fact, you can toss in Takitaki on this list as well, because neither of these guys felt any pressure of, hey, is there going to be a rookie that might be trying to take my job before week 1, during training camp. We revisit the linebacker depth chart here, and Joe Woods is going to run a lot of two linebacker sets. You know, JOK and Walker / Takitaki, right? Kind of splitting those two guys. But still, not a lot of pressure from beneath them to push them out. So if I'm them right now, who, by the way, are both on one-year contracts, or on the last year of their contracts, I should say, then, yeah, feels pretty good if I'm them. So those are my 5 winners. Now, next, we're going to get to my losers from the draft, because in life, there are winners and there are losers. So we're going to check out who did not come out smiling, you know, after the NFL draft was over. But first, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, because if you're looking for free daily Browns content, if you want to join one of the fastest growing Browns YouTube channels, as we've picked up, I couldn't even get an exact count because it's been rapidly growing so fast, but 1,500 subs ballpark in the last month. Subscribe today, stay locked in, because here's the deal. If you're watching today's show, that means you're a real OG Browns fan. You're staying up with the team in May. A lot of people check out in the offseason. Not you. Hit that big red button and subscribe. All right, now let's get to some losers here. I feel bad for some of these guys. Some of them I think you can probably predict why they probably aren't super pumped after the draft, because what about Chase McLaughlin, who straight up lost his job? I thought when they drafted Cade York, there would be a kicking competition, and that would result in McLaughlin being cut at the end of it. But they don't even give him the opportunity to come to Berea in August. You know, they're like, this is over right now. It's Cade York's job. Next loser, Kareem Hunt. It's not quite as big as a loser as maybe McLaughlin. We'll also toss Johnson on this list, just because when you drafted Jerome Ford in the 5th round, you started to do some quick math. You started to think, all right, well, you usually take 4 running backs. You've already got Demetic Felton, John Kelly, and now you have Ford there. Ooh, how are we all going to fit this together? You know, is Felton going to end up on the practice squad? Probably not, because I bet another team would pick him up. I don't think Jerome Ford does either. A lot of teams are really high on that guy. You try to stash him on your practice squad, he's probably going to get picked up as well. And so I'm thinking Hunt and Johnson, who are both entering the final years of their contracts, makes you wonder if Ford is quickly going to take over for one of them after 2022. I want to ask this question a little off the wall, but who do you think is going to have a better 2022 season? So producer Jeremy, who runs our Steelers channel, but he grew up in Houston, so he watched a lot of Deshaun Watson play. He knows Watson likes to run out of the shotgun, a spread offense. That bodes pretty well for Kareem Hunt, but Chubb's the better running back. So it's, I wouldn't say a toss-up, but it's closer than it was last year with Baker running under shotgun. So put the jersey number for the running back you think has the better 2022 season. My next loser is Troy Hill. Pretty obvious, right? He's not on the roster anymore. When the Martin Emerson pick came in, I thought, wow, we really wanted to go DB with the first selection, which already a kind of crowded cornerback room, right? First round picks of Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, and then you got Greedy Williams in round 2. I don't know, Jim. But we'll look at the trade in just a moment. But I want to tell everyone watching about our friends over at Rumble. So if you're looking for another spot to get Browns content and uncensored news, politics, sports, tech, whatever it is, check us out on Rumble. Rumble.com/Browns Report. Links in the comments and the description. We have the second most Rumble followers here at Chat Sports. I want to take over the Chiefs at number 1. So support the show over there. Follow us, rumble.com/Browns Report. So going back to Troy Hill, he was traded back to L.A. for a future 5th-round pick. The Rams always say F them picks. And, yeah, the Martin Emerson pick starts to make a little more sense. He's not a replacement for Hill, because Hill is a very defined slot nickel corner. That's not Martin Emerson. Don't sell yourself on that. I don't think I know what the Browns are going to do at corner just yet, at DB. I've seen some ideas of just, like, moving Delpit and JOK and a bit of a rotation, kind of corner by committee there. I don't really know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. All right, my last loser is Baker Mayfield. He didn't get traded. You know, that's got to be a blow to him. To feel like after the NFL draft, there were teams like the Panthers who had an option. Baker or Golden Corral. And they went with the all-you-can-eat buffet. That's got to sting for Baker a little bit, right? You're sitting on your couch, and it's kind of like draft day all over again, except you're not getting drafted. You're getting traded, you think. And then when the draft's over, no one wants you. That's got to suck here. We'll get the Browns winners and losers up in just a moment here so you can get it all in one piece here. All right. Winners and losers for the Cleveland Browns. Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, Winovich, Walker, Takitaki, and then the losers, McLaughlin, Hunt, Johnson, Troy Hill, and Baker Mayfield. Those are my 5 winners and my 5 losers. Who is your biggest winner or loser from the draft? Let me know in the comment section who you think came out smiling or who you think came out frowning. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at MatthewPD. I can't remember who it is, but someone keeps commenting like, why are you promoting yourself? You're shameless. I'm just trying to grow my Twitter presence here. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on Twitter. We're just over 600. So follow me on Twitter if you love talking about the Browns and you love talking about the NFL, because that's what I'm doing over there at MatthewPD. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later with more Browns news and rumors.